Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio. Today I'm working in my little triangle book. I am doing my mission inspiration for October. We had two choices. Of course I could do two, but we all know how quickly I get them done. Halloween themed or just autumn harvest. And I went for autumn harvest. Just because I wasn't sure I was in the mood for Halloween. But there are... sorry, I'm dropping my phone. There are 5 ingredients. The first one was sand or grit. And this medium is called Find Pumice. And pumice is sand or grit, right? So I figured I would use that, and gonna have to let it dry. I decided it was too thick, scraped a little off there, and just roughing it up to make it look like some texture. And then the colors are red apple, moss, and clay. And so, yep, I've got red, green, and sort of an orangey color. The colors on the prompts are a little bit more dull than the colors I have, but, you use what you got. And I figured I would just sponge over the texture, and that could be the grass. So it's got a lot of texture in it. I was worried. I was getting all these texture-y things. I'm like, my book will not close if I fill it up with too much dimension. So yeah, well, it's not peach. It's orange is what I used for clay. And then I added a little bit of peach. And I think I don't know, I was trying to make it look like a clay color. So I mixed that up, and it still looks like orange. I decided to scoop a little bit of that green. That'll dull it down a little bit. And then, yeah, that's the buff, Titan buff. It's a little clay looking, maybe? Oh, and I added, that's honey brown, is that color. There, so now I've got my clay color. Or what I'm going to use for clay, anyway. Alright, so I am using that as my sky. Who says the sky can't be orange? Maybe it's dusk. Or maybe there's, a distant fire somewhere and there's a lot of smoke in the air and it looks orange. So, the theme is Autumn Harvest, and it says, through autumn's golden glow, we used to kick our way. So I guess that's autumn's golden glow that I'm painting. It works. It's weird. You'd be surprised. Some of those paints I put on there are very matte and kind of chalky because they're craft paints. So they go on like clay. I'm trying to be careful not to squish paint under the edges. There we go. I'm just trying to cover up the fact that you can see brush strokes in there. Alright. I decided it wasn't, I don't know, it was just too much solid plainness. So I thought I would put a little texture into the sky. So I have these texture plates. They're actually for making texture on fondant for cakes, but I bought them on clearance. Thought I could use them on my jelly plate. That was kind of disappointing, so I pulled out my dot stencil and we'll just put a bunch of dots on here, and just slightly lighter so it's not too noticeable in your face. What do you want to say? It's interesting. Alright, so one of the prompts is make marks, and I decided the color is supposed to be red apple. We'll just make circle dots and they'll look like apples. And I think at first I was thinking those could be on a tree. That's why they're kind of spread out like that, and then I changed my mind. I need a few over here. Okay, another one of the prompts was wood. Well, I was already worried about making my book too thick, so I am taking a picture of wood. In fact, I'm taking this guitar. It's out of a guitar magazine. I'm just taking the bottom of that, and we're going to make it look like a basket. I'm trying to get that as straight as possible. There we go. And I'm going to put on there, and then I'm like, oh, there's a lot of dimensions, so I am going to glue that onto, oh, not yet. I'm going to glue that onto cardstock to make it stiffer. But one of the other prompts was fibers, so I had to add some fabric. So we're going to put some fabric inside the basket. Oh, and one of the prompts was rips and tears. I'm tearing. Did you see me tear the fabric? That's my rips and tears. That one was cut, but I tore the other ones. Alright, so I've got that, and then I'm going to stick this on. And this is where I decide... Oh, nope. Not yet. I keep thinking it. I decide that there needs to be some apples in the basket, so I have to pull the fabric down and stick some apples down there so they look like they're sitting in the basket. There we go. Now I'm sticking that onto some cardstock. And I had this cardstock from another project. Oh yeah, that was from my September one. That was the center of the sunflower. It was just sitting there, so I'm using it. So I think I hit all the prompts. Sand or grit, fibers, marks, rips and tears, and wood. I weight that down till it's dry. And then this is just a Stabilo All. I wanted to get some shading under my basket. And I'm going to put a stem on each of my apples. Oh, and a little leaf. Just in case you weren't sure what it was that was falling out of the sky and landing in my basket. And they're still wet, so it's I'm just trying to work around them. And trying not to touch them with the marker, because that would ruin my marker. I decided they were a little flat, so I thought I would try, now that they're mostly dry, try just a little bit of a yellow to highlight. Not sure. That almost make them look like a different kind of fruit or something. Oh well, do they look more round now? Maybe they look round now. Alright, so I figured I wanted to put a quote in this big orange or clay colored sky. The heat of autumn is different from the heat of summer. One ripens apples, the other turns them to cider. Anyways, I hope you liked that project. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. And thank you all for watching. Have an awesome day.